Hello, everybody, and welcome to Admissionado's Insider's Guide to IESE Business School. My name is Yaron Dahan. I'm an Admissionado consultant, and I've been working for Admissionado for 5 years, long time. I've also lived in Europe for 10 years, although I'm originally from New York. I've lived in Spain, France, Czech Republic, and Germany, although not necessarily in that order. And I'm here to talk to you today about IESE. But before we get into IESE, let's talk a little bit about the European MBA program and how it's different from the US MBA program. In many ways, it's very, very similar. The course content tends to be similar, of course, different from school to school. You still have fantastic job offers at the end and fantastic classmates during the whole process. There's still some differences, though. First difference is that European MBA programs tend to be shorter. Your normal US program is 2 years. Your normal European program is 1. Although IESE, which we're going to talk about today, is a 2-year program. So the exception which proves the rule. European programs have good deadlines. What do I mean by good deadlines? They're very good for people applying in December, January, February, even March. People who are a little bit late in the game. If maybe you didn't get in to the school that you wanted in the US, so there are some top programs in Europe which, if you're open to them, can probably get you a similar job, although maybe in Europe as opposed to in the US. So it can be a really good option in that case. Obviously, another unique aspect about the European MBA program is that it's in Europe. So really good if you want to either live or work in Europe. Maybe a little bit less obvious is that a European MBA is fantastic for those who want to work internationally, outside of Europe as well. So a lot of jobs in Asia or in Latin America, Africa, the Middle East recruit from European MBA from MBA programs. A more personal advantage or unique factor of the European MBA program is that you're living and working in another language. The MBA itself is in English for the most part, although some MBAs do offer bilingual programs. But unless you go to a UK program, you're in a new country with a new language, and you're going to come away with yet one more language. Fantastic. You can put it on your resume. Maybe it'll get you a better job. And even if not, it's a lot of fun. And finally, the programs are really global, very, very diverse, with very international student bodies. Not just technically speaking, are the programs global and diverse, but also from the point of view of outlook. The schools tend to have a very international outlook, and it's something that is reflected in their approach to teaching, also where people come from and where the graduates end up going. Let's take a look at that right now. So how global are the European MBA programs? Let's take as an example IESE, which we're going to look at today, and Harvard. So at Harvard, which is typical of a US MBA program in many ways, international students, international faculty are about a third. At IESE, 92% of students are international and 90% of faculty. So people coming out of Spain. Wow, total difference. But not only that, where do people actually work? Harvard, which graduates, which are typical of graduates from any US MBA program, the large majority stay in America. 83% going to jobs in North America, 8% going to Europe, and a smattering going to the rest of the world. Okay, in a way it makes sense. Good jobs in the US job market with good US salaries, but at the same time, IESE, like many European programs, tend to be a lot more global. And a first glance at the statistics will show that 63% going to jobs in Europe, 10% to Latin America and the Caribbean, 14% in Asia, 9% in North America, and 3% in Africa and the Middle East. So people are really going all over the place. I should say, though, that IESE is in some ways a little bit atypical from a European program in that the European programs tend to be much more heavily weighted towards Asia. So your average European program will have 1/3 of the graduates going to jobs in Asia. So IESE is more Eurocentric. And second difference is that there are a lot more graduates both coming and going to Latin America, which makes sense in a certain sense from IESE because being in Spain, the Spanish language connection, the connection with the old Spanish colonies, so there's a much deeper connection with Latin America and other Spanish speaking countries. So let's have a look at Europe's top programs, country by country. In France, the top two programs are really INSEAD and HEC. There are a few more very excellent ones. These are the top two. In Spain, Instituto Impresa, IESE, and ESADA are the three top programs. In England, LBS, Oxford, Cambridge, Warwick, and Manchester are the schools that make the rankings in general. Schools in other countries, we have IMD in Switzerland, Rotterdam, Bocconi in Italy, Mannheim in Germany. There are more excellent MBA programs in Europe, so I don't want to just limit myself to this list, but these are the ones that really come up again and again, and I wanted to also give some examples of each country so that if you have a specific goal, people always talk to me, they say, hey, I really want to go work in Italy, I really want to go work in Germany or wherever, so at least you have one school in some of the major destinations in Europe. And now let's have a look at IESE. Lovely building, very spaceshipy, which is apparently all the rage in MBA programs in the last decade. IESE, ole MBA. Okay, that's a cheesy joke, but never mind. IESE, what's special about IESE? First attraction of IESE, they use the Harvard case study method. So very, very interesting for people who want to learn in the case study method. One of the only schools in Europe that really exclusively uses the case study method. So if that's your thing, IESE is for you. There are a few aspects about IESE that make it a little bit more like a US program than a European program. First is that the class tends to be a little bit younger. Average age is 28, like America. In the US, it tends to be 27, 28. Whereas in many other European programs, it hovers around 30, even 31. Second thing is that IESE is a 2-year program and not a 1-year program, like many other European MBA programs. Very, very international. In this, it's similar to many other European programs. One unique thing that IESE does have that's really, really cool is that they have a bilingual Spanish and English MBA program. So if you already speak Spanish or you've learned Spanish in your studies or you want to work in a Spanish-speaking country or for a Spanish firm, it can be really excellent to take this program up. They have a very strong focus on entrepreneurship, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, and very good connections with Latin America. So IESE is one of the top 10 European programs in basically all the rankings, and Spain's #1 ranked MBA program. So an excellent choice for those who want to study in Europe. Quite a lot of clients ask me when we talk about European schools and these Spanish schools that people ask me about in IESE, especially, people ask me, okay, what about Spain? How am I going to go to Spain? How am I going to find a job? We hear horror stories about the Spanish economy and so on and so forth. But as we see here, the school has a fantastic placement rate of 95%. And if you look at the placement statistics of the school, you'll see, although a lot of people do work in Spain, people are working all over the place. Germany, UK, outside of Europe. So don't obsess about, Spanish economy, how am I going to get a job? There are jobs out there for IESE graduates, as the statistics prove. People are going to Amazon, Bain, McKinsey, Nomura, Citigroup, all of the fantastic MBA recruiters. So who is the IESE MBA? I'm doing things a little bit backwards, going from the middle to the beginning, but you'll forgive me. Who is the IESE MBA? Strong in consulting, energy, and high tech. Great placement rate. They are entrepreneurial. More than 1/3 of IESE students go on to create their own business. This is something that the school cultivates and even looks for. So if you're applying, you should think about how you fit into this aspect of the school. And the school is very big on ethics in general and in business. The school is an initiative of the Catholic Church of the Opus Dei, so it should come to no surprise that IESE considers ethics to be a fundamental part of your business school studies. Application tips for IESE. Spanish. Habla español. I used to, but kind of forgot it in the mush of languages that I later learned. But I still love and speak Spanish. So if you speak Spanish or if you've learned Spanish, this is a big bonus, especially to show your fit with the school. Also, if you have some sort of connection with you're looking for a job in Spain or Latin America, it makes sense to focus on this aspect in your application. Secondly, it also makes your life easier when you're studying a bilingual MBA program or if you decide to study in Spain. Although the regular MBA program's campus is in Barcelona, which, as you know, where the language is Catalan. So, but many people do speak Castellan, so very, very good if you speak that as well. By the way, Barcelona, I don't know if you've been there, fantastic city. Not only do you have the opportunity to watch some of the best football in the world, but it seems you can also go to work in flip-flops, which is kind of cool. Next application tip, show your entrepreneurial side. A lot of people do end up going into entrepreneurship from IESE, so if you fit into that, show how you do, they're going to love you. Next, play up your internationalism, both in your past and in your goals, meaning work abroad, work with international teams, especially leadership, if you have any international leadership. If you don't have it in your past, at least in your future, how are you going to be international? This applies to all European MBA programs. It applies to US programs. They care about it a little bit less. And if your goal is to work in Europe, especially in Spain, let them know. Finally, like all B school programs, if you have leadership experience, wahoo, put that front and center. If you have international leadership experience, double wahoo, because that's really fantastic. You're going to get in everywhere. So those are our application tips. Bottom line, IESE's MBA program is a fantastic choice for those who prefer the case study method. Obviously, for those who fancy themselves in Spain, but even in other countries in Europe or internationally, and with a job placement rate that is at the tippity top of all Euro B school programs, it is a great place to start your career or to jump it up a level. So, have you got your eyes on our European programs? Then I hope this little webinar has been helpful for you. IESE is truly an amazing program, and many people don't know about it or even that much about it. So hopefully this has been informative, and it can be a great launching pad for your career, I think. So feel free to reach out to us if you have any further questions about IESE or any other European or US MBA program. And drop us a line. Be happy to hear from you.